Well, that's a good start. I forgot to play the intro. Anyway, good evening, everybody, and welcome along to a very special Rangers Rabble Christmas night spectacular, I could say. The reason I wanted to come on and do this is that I'm not a very Christmas person. I'm not a bah humbug. I'm just not a very Christmas person, particularly when my kids are at their respective mothers, and they're all grown up now anyway. And I'm also very conscious that there's a number of people who would ordinarily watch or participate in the podcast that are on their own tonight because, like, we've got Mark stuck in the middle of the North Sea. We've got Bryan, who is there with his pussy. And we've also got Davie's jumped in to join us as well. There may or may not be other other guys joining us throughout the course of the evening. So, Bryan, first of all, Merry Christmas. How are you, sir?
Merry Christmas, and Merry Christmas to everybody else. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, Christmas is not my sort of scene recently. Last few years, it's not been very kind family-wise, so I don't really look forward to it in that respect. So, yeah, it's just nice to jump on with you guys and chat everything Rangers. So, hope everybody else enjoyed their day.
Mark, how's things in the North Sea?
All good, mate. All good. Usually I'd be half smug at the moment and be at somebody's house, or I'd have a house full. So obviously quite happy to jump on and talk some Rangers with you guys. But yeah, it's all right. I'm very much a Christmas person. I love a bit of Christmas. Can he beat getting a bit of old Michael Bublé's Christmas album on? So that's usually how I roll. But no, that's good. I said Merry Christmas to you guys and Merry Christmas to everybody that's watching.
Yeah. And Davie, what about yourself? How's your Christmas day been?
It's been great, Wilf. I've managed to do what most men across the world can, and that's survive a Christmas day at the mother-in-law's. So it's been a really tremendous day here. And I would just like to say Merry Christmas to everybody viewing, and Merry Christmas to every guy that's on the panel tonight.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure if I said it at the start, but Merry Christmas to everybody that's watching. I hope you've all had a fantastic day, however you've spent it, with your family, without your family, at your mother-in-law's, at your father-in-law's, wherever. We didn't go to the mother-in-law's this year. The missus decided she wanted a year in the house, me, her and the dog, which was fine. So, Bryan, let's talk Christmas presents. Right, cards on the table. I tell people not to get with them, so I get one or two little bits and pieces. So I'm out of this conversation. What did you get today that's Rangers related that we can talk about on here?
New PJs.
I knew you were going to say that.
New pajamas. So I got them. I actually bought them a while ago. I completely forgot about them, as is Every's delivery expertise. It took a while to come, but eventually it did come, and I completely forgot about it. And yeah, I just totally forgot I'd ordered them, and here they were. So that was my sole contribution to as far as Rangers Christmas presents are concerned.
So what else did you get then that you can talk about that's clean?
That's clean. I got a bottle of whiskey from my brother, so that was the sole sum of my Christmas. So
good stuff.
Yeah,
right, while we're on the subject of presents, everybody in the chat, fire into the chat what you got Rangers related for Christmas. I know what Mark got for the Secret Santa because he's going to show us, aren't you, Mark?
I am indeed. So just to put it in context, so offshore we all set a limit. 20 quid, 30 quid, I can't even really remember how much it was, 20 or 30 quid. Say it was 20 quid, right? So you've got 20 quid budget, you pick a name out of a hat, you don't tell MD, you go and buy that person specifically a gift for Christmas. We come on a rig, we stick it on one place, and then 9 o'clock on Christmas Day, we all go have a laugh, and everybody gets their Secret Santas dished out, and it's usually a scream, and I would say probably 95% of the stuff that get dished out today, you probably couldn't tell anybody about or show pictures on definitely not on the internet, because it's just, as you can imagine, very male orientated workplace. So it's just a scream. It's just a proper piss take. But somebody has obviously knows who I am, knows what I do, knows I'm a mad Rangers fan, and I got obviously offshore. You all got a bunk. It's just generic bedspreads. It's just generic everything else. So somebody's just went and got me a single duvet bedspread for my Crimbo. I said that was my Secret Santa. I got a bedspread, so that's me get my very own bedspread now offshore. And they got me the annual. Look at that. I feel like I'm 8-year-old again. Absolutely brilliant. I was buzzing Absolutely buzzing. So not only have I got a new Rangers bedspread, I've got the Rangers annual 2024. Over the moon. Absolutely over the moon. Best Christmas present I've had this year.
Didn't even know we still did the annual, but I'll be rushing out. I'll be rushing out to buy that when I'm at Ibrox on Wednesday. I'll be heading into the store to buy that. Didn't even know we still did them. So, Davie, what did you get? Any Rangers related presents from the mother-in-law today?
Not for the mother-in-law, Wilf, but the jumper that I'm wearing the new, my brother purchased for me. So big shout out to my wee brother Greg. And as you can see, it's black. So for a guy like me that's carrying a wee bit of extra timber, even though it's Castor, it still matters when it's black.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Castor Black stuff's really good. I mean, as I say, I'm not really the Christmas present. I got a cheese board, a few quid, stuff like that, but it's just nothing too startling. So, Bryan, you're the one that messaged me earlier and said, was I serious when I questioned the Rabble schedule for this week and I went no Monday pod, and you messaged me earlier and said, are you serious about doing one tonight? So what are we going to talk about?
Absolutely anything. For anybody can fire questions in. We can come up with anything ourselves. It's literally how we will go on as long as we think we can go on and speak Rangers, because that's what we do best.
Well, I've got however long Strictly Come Dancing's on the telly because she's watching that on catch up. So that was the caveat. She said, "What time's that on?" I said, "Look, it clashes with the Italian job." So I'll watch the Italian job. Then at 7 o'clock, I'll come up to speak to the lads, and you can just watch the thing on catch up. So that was a good deal. So, Mark, tell us a bit more about Christmas on the rig. Then what's the deal? I noticed you fired in some rather nice pictures of food earlier on.
Food's outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Yeah. Different depending on where you are. Different. I've been in places where you've literally you get 2 hours. You get 2 hours to have your Christmas dinner, and you're right back at it, right back working. Everybody's the same. You get a quick dinner, a quick kind of taste of Christmas, and then bosh, you're straight back at it, back to your 12-hour shift. On here's slightly different. Some places you go are great. Some places will give you the full day off. Some places, as I said, you'll get a half day. Some will give you a couple of hours. On here, we've had the full day off, which is absolutely fantastic. As I said, I've been doing this for 20. I think this is me getting into my 27th year next year. And some places are good. Some places are fantastic. This is really, really good here. The food and the chefs are amazing, absolutely amazing. And it's quite hard. I put a post on my Facebook, just saying, like, I put the same. I stuck the videos in that into the group chat with you guys just to kind of show you the spread that they put on, and it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's amazing. You guys have seen the photos. It's the things that these guys do is outstanding, and it's quite hard. As I said, a lot of the boys offshore, like myself, young kids, away from their families, hundreds of miles away, middle of the North Sea, and it's sometimes it's a hard time of the year for us guys, but they really make up for it out here. We had so day off today. Some of us obviously need to the kind of safety critical roles still need to work, so they still need to be where they need to be. So guys in the control room and stuff like that. So we'll try and rotate them out and try and give them as much time off as possible. But what will happen is we will. Usually I'm 6 to 6, so 6 in the morning, 6 at night. That's my shift pattern, 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week while I'm here. So I do 14 12-hour shifts. Today, I'll tell you what, last night what happened was Christmas Eve, we get knocked off early. So we come in for 4:45. We usually get our dinner at 6:30. So our dinner was 5:30 last night. We come in at 4:45. We had bingo, believe it or not, fiver a shot. Bingo at 5 o'clock. So you'll believe how funny it is when you are doing daft stuff like that, just the camaraderie and stuff like that. So as I said, bingo last night. We had dinner at 5:30, steak dinner. So you had fillet steak, what else? Fillet steak, lamb shank, and all the trimmings and stuff like that. They've got non-alcoholic beer. They've got brew dog. They've got non-alcoholic Guinness, non-alcoholic Beck's, non-alcoholic Heineken. So it feels like it's a bit of Christmas. It feels like it's you get a day off. So this morning we ordered a long lie. No breakfast at all. Brunch was at 10 o'clock. Full spread. All sorts. I mean, the boys, catering boys on here done an absolutely fantastic job. We had a big brunch, all you can eat, bacon, sausage, bagels, muffins, you name it was on. Absolutely fantastic. So the boys fill their boots. We take it easy. We do games. So there's like pool competition, pool, darts. We've even got one of these simulated shooting games. So lots and lots of stuff like that. All throughout the day, competitions, tournaments. If you win, you get, I think it's 40 quid or 50 quid if you win the tournament. 4 o'clock, done for our dinner. As I said, I've showed you the spread. Outstanding. Turkey, ham, beef rib. Just outstanding. Absolutely fantastic. Fill your boots again. The catering crew, what they do is they serve you your starter. So they'll come and get your starter, get your drink. And then once you've had your starter and that, you nip up and get what you want. You want a bit of everything, you can have a bit of everything. If you want to have a bit of everything, sit down, eat it, and then go back up and have another bit of everything, by all means. And what generally happens is once all the guys have had their meal, what we'll do is a few of us will hang back and help the catering crew. So when they sit down, we'll serve them their starters and stuff like that and bits and bobs and help them out. And then obviously we'll go in and help them clear away, do the plates and wipe down the tables and all that for them as well. So, and the rest of that, just finishing off all the competitions, everybody kind of lounging about, taking it easy, eating sweeties to come out with theirs. So, as I said, I know it sounds amazing, but it kind of takes your mind off the fact that everybody else is all sitting with their family, all sitting having a drink, all sitting having good times, seeing their kids' faces in Christmas morning, and that really you cannot put a price on that. So as I said, you guys that have all experienced that this morning, that's absolutely fantastic. As I said, obviously we've been spoiled today, but it's no, I would give all that up in a heartbeat to be home just to see the kids' faces in the morning. So as I said, it's a wee bit of Christmas away. Tomorrow we're right back into it, back to work, and like nothing's ever happened, and that's it, done and dusted for another year. We will do the same on New Year as well. We'll have probably New Year's Day. We'll maybe get New Year's Day off as well. So and we'll have a nice meal and stuff like that as well. But as I said, that's just how it is. It's part and parcel. I have worked the last, I think probably in the last 7 Christmases, I've worked maybe 5 of them. So the way my rota works, if you're rotated on, that's it. You're working, and there's nothing much you can do about it. So, but my rota, I'm off for the next 3, so I'm over the moon with that. But is there any questions? Anybody in the chat wants to ask anything? Feel free, fire away. I'm happy to answer any question anybody wants to fire my way.
Oh, brilliant, Mark. I didn't realise you get the day off. That's fantastic. You get to do it. Obviously, missing your family and stuff like that. Brutal. But Davie, while Mark was going on telling us about the life offshore, which didn't go down too well with everybody, but that's just the way it goes. And somebody made the comment, "Is a bit more of a random rabble." Well, it is, because we're just talking about anything. We've got no set agenda. No, just whatever. Pedro Mendes made a comment. You got a couple of tickets for the game on Wednesday, which is fantastic. Brilliant Christmas gift to get. But he referenced the ticketing system, which is an absolute pile of bollocks.
Well, that's it, Wilf. There's many things in the club over the last few years that have improved, but it's quite clear to see that there's still some way to go to improve everything at the club to make everybody happy. But we've got that larger fan base that you're never going to make everybody happy, unfortunately, in the situation that we are. The ticketing office, even the way it used to be when it was the balloting system and everybody used to get their standard 4 or 5 games a year, that at the point in time didn't make everybody happy. My jersey is a very contentious thing for Rangers fans, unfortunately. And again, I don't think it's a perfect system. But I mean, it's great that the guy who is named as Pedro Mendes will be attending the game on Wednesday. But I think the club could still go away to sort of improving that link between supporter base and, ticketing, because if you get the fans on side, it's a massive thing for the club. As you can see across the city at the moment, things aren't very succinct shall we say, in the East End of Glasgow at the moment. But we are sort of together, and probably the most together we've been as a club since I can remember, since probably Gerrard's last full season at the club. And I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, Bryan, go back to the ticketing system, because we don't really want to, labour too much on it, but I believe there's a new ticketing system. They keep telling us it's coming in. They said for the, if I believe it right, the season ticket renewal time, which is normally kind of end of March, beginning of April, and it's supposed to be Ticket Geek, I believe. Do you know anything about them? Ever used it? You know anything about them?
I've heard of it. I've never used it before, so it'll be a new one for me. But yeah, just going on to this ticket and stuff. I mean, it's been a long time coming. This, I think a lot of fans have been bleating for a long time that the fact that they can't buy like all their.
No, Bryan seems to have stuck. He's obviously not fed the hamster enough, or fed the hamster too much.
Pain.
So,
sorry, it's just a bit of a pain for everybody. They can't do everything at once. They've got to do each individual match. They've got to buy it individually. So hopefully now with this new system that they can buy anything at the same time, like little tick boxes, and get it all done in a one, because it is a pain having to go in, out, having to buy an individual ticket for an individual game, and like for a, wanting to apply for away match tickets and stuff. So hopefully once the system's in, you only have to go in once and buy what you want in that one go, and then that'll be it. Because to me, that makes more sense than, that makes the most sense, let's be honest.
Yeah, for me, it's a pain in the arse. You have to go in and, like, for example, the other day there, my GS members got emails to apply for Hibs and apply for Dumbarton, and you had to kind of go in and out and in and out, and you're pressing buttons and you're all over the place, and it's just, it's not a user-friendly system, but we know that. So hopefully the SeatGeek, when it comes in, if it comes in, and hopefully it can it'll work a lot better. So while we're on the subject, Mark, you asked for questions. I know you were possibly talking about the offshore stuff, but Paul McGarrigle's asking a question for the guys. I'll start with you, Mark. Are we looking for a striker? How would you guys feel if it was Van Veen? Because there's been some chat that Van Veen's available. I read today that he's actually back in Scotland for whatever reason. I don't know if he's got family here or whatever, but I would personally say we are looking for a striker. But what do you think?
Not a chance, Van Veen. No way. I would say we're definitely looking for two strikers. I would say at least two strikers. No, Van Veen, sorry, no. I know he's I know he had a good season, but he had 3 relatively poor seasons before that. So no, sorry. Andy's what, 31? Not a chance.
Well, it's 33 now, actually. 32, 33.
Is he? There you are, that's even worse. So that's even more of a no. No, I think for me, the kind of rumour mill is Fabio Silva, the Portuguese boy. I don't know if he's kind of cut out frame wise and attributes wise to come into the Scottish game and get kicked lumps at by a big ginger-headed centre half with no front teeth. I don't know if he's the type that's going to stand up to that. Another one's Shanklin, which is a kind of contentious split between the yeses and the nos. So Shanklin, yes, I would take Shanklin in a heartbeat at the right price. I think that if the silly money that they're talking about, no, sorry. I don't think we should be held to ransom by anybody. If we get him a decent price, i.e. a la 2.5 million plus Lowry, I wouldn't be over the moon with that, but I would still say, right, okay, that deal done. I'll shake your hand, yeah, because that he might score us the goals that can win the league. But for me, he's no what I'm looking for in a Rangers striker moving forward. I don't think we're going to get 3-4 a year at him and sell him on and make a profit, because at the end of the day, that's what we need to do as a club, whether you like it or you don't like it. I think the big boy Silva, 6'4", meant to be. I think at one point they were talking about him. He was meant to be the next Cristiano Ronaldo. So they paid 35 million for him. I don't think he's gonna cut it at the in the Premiership level. He's had a couple of half decent loans Possibly might be a good shout for Bryan. He's a decent calibre for the amount of chances he's probably going to get at Rangers. Yes, I think for us moving into Europe, yes. Whether he's cut out to, like I said earlier, playing against a big centre half with ginger hair that's 6'4" and just going to kick him up and down the park. I don't know if he's up for that. But hence the reason why I think that probably Shanklin's probably a good call. If you're going to bring this big boy in, bring somebody that knows the game and can score you goals. So for me, that's a decent balance. Whether it will happen or no is speculation. But listen, we wouldn't have a podcast if there was a speculation. So for me, Van Veen, absolutely not. Never in a month of Sundays. But I take the big boy Silva. As I said, maybe no with the chance of him looking to shine in the Scottish game, but possibly leaning more towards Europe and try to bring him on. And Shanklin also to kind of complement him as well. So for me, they two would be a good addition. But we definitely need definitely at least two strikers, I would say, at the very, very least, amongst others. So I mean, if you want to start speculating regarding who else we need, what positions we need, if guys get your comments in.
Right, Davie, I'm coming to you about Lord Shanklin in a wee minute. But like, shout out to William Reynolds, who said, "Good evening, gentlemen. Spending Christmas alone. Didn't know you were on. Good stuff." William, we didn't know we were on till a couple of hours ago. I did kind of jokingly suggest it the other day, and then Bryan came back to me and said, "Let's just do it." It is primarily for guys like yourself who are spending it on their own, because we know it's not a fun place to be times like this. So welcome along. So Davie, Lawrence Shanklin, there's lots and lots of comments in the chat about Lawrence Shanklin being a good shout. My good friend Arthur Rogie speaking the sense for a change in Perth. That's Perth, this side of the channel, not Perth across in sunnier climes in Australia. Saying it'd be a good shout in January. Now, I've got a theory about Lawrence Shanklin, right? Now listen to this, because this is a bit complicated, right? The reason I don't think we can get Shanklin is because Hearts will want £5 million for him. Right? And the reason they'll want £5 million for him is that's what he's worth to them, because he could fire them to third place, which is a European place, which is £5 million in their bin. Right? The other reason I think he would possibly want to stay at Hearts is he knows he can score goals for them. And if he keeps scoring goals for them, he goes to the Euros. If he leaves Hearts and goes anywhere and it doesn't work, he doesn't go to the Euros. So from a personal point of view, he might not want to leave. But I don't think we'd get him for less than £5 million, because that's what he's worth to Hearts.
Well, my take on it, Wilf, is simply this. If it's £5 million, it's a no. Yeah, that's too much outlay. We've been scorned already through the summer transfer window in regards to, paying upwards of 3.5 million for the likes of Lammers and Dessers in terms of value for money. If we take Dessers in isolation, yes, last couple of games, it looks as if he's maybe coming onto a game. But for the outlay that we paid for Dessers at the age he is, there's no sell-on value there or return, and Shanklin is the same age as Dessers. So if it's anything upwards of north of £3 million, then it's a no for me for Shanklin. But to counter your argument there, Wilf, and then it must be an interesting conversation in your house considering who your missus supports. But I certainly think that Shanklin would walk over broken glass to join Rangers. I don't think that would be an issue. The issue would be, as it always is in Scottish football, as we've seen back to the times when we tried to sign Scott Allen, there's a Rangers tax when we look to buy, guys from the league, and whether that's fair or unfair or whatever, there's certainly some truth to that argument. I certainly think perhaps Lewis Ferguson, who is strolling it in Serie A at the moment, would be a Rangers player now if it wouldn't be for a potential Rangers tax, in terms of Aberdeen wanting to do business with Rangers. So that's the thing. Everybody hates us, but you know what? We'll revel in that. And we should draw some sort of siege mentality with that going forward. And to touch on another point, I think we've got the right manager at the helm now that will galvanise everybody under the same banner.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Bryan, James Quinn saying he'd much prefer Majowski over Shanklin. Now, I've said the same, simply because Majowski's a lot younger now. I got shot down on the phone in last Monday because, as somebody rightly pointed out, we can't sign everybody with a view to selling them on. As Mark says, Van Veen, 33 years old, no resale value. Sign Shanklin at 28, 29, 3 or 4 year contract, no real resale value. Sign Majowski at, what is he, 25? He's got a resale value, but not everybody you sign is going to have a resale value. So, would you take Majowski? Hypothetically, Shanklin's going to cost 5 for the reasons that I reckon he might cost 5. Majowski's going to cost 3. Would you take Shanklin over Majowski? Would you take Majowski over Shanklin? Would you give them both a buy?
I mean, the problem you've got is Shanklin's got a contract till 2026. Shanklin's is up in 2025. So you could probably argue that Hearts have got this is their last chance saloon to sort of get a decent price for Shanklin, because let's be honest, when you've only got a year to go, clubs usually, because they're either going to keep them and let their contract run down, or they're going to sell them for as high as they can. So it's going to be a difficult one for Hearts if somebody does come in January and swings a few million quid at them. Majowski, or I mean, we're in need of a guy who's just a pure finisher, and Shanklin does that. I don't think Majowski. I think Majowski's probably a better all-round player, but I think Shanklin is an out-and-out finisher. And for me, we haven't had an out-and-out finisher probably since Boyd. So we need somebody that's going to get 20, 25, even 30 goals. We need guys like that again. We haven't had a guy score in the 20s for many, many years, and it's not good enough for a club like us to have a guy or to have nobody score 20-plus goals. Not even Morelos, when he was playing his best, had 20 league goals. So for me, we've got to get somebody who's Bob has said there, Cholak was a finisher. Yeah, he was. But Beale decided to get rid of him. So we need an out-and-out striker for the SPL. That's the bread and butter.
But Brian, what you've got to remember about Lawrence Shanklin, Shanklin scored 20-plus last season, but he's the first Hearts player to score 20 goals in 30 years. So he's only done it one season. So,
true.
What's to say he'll do it again?
True, but he's Scottish, as I think as Alan said in the chat as well. Adding the homegrown quota as well. So we just need a guy that's going to get us 20-plus goals, because every team that wins a league needs a guy that's going to do that. And I think Shanklin's that guy.
Mark, that's another thing, the homegrown thing with this European rule from through the week there that I caught a little bit of. Apparently, the homegrown rule's been deemed illegal. So are you ever going to bin that?
You just don't know, do you? But I mean, if it's deemed illegal, then I think they might. I don't know whether that maybe help us. I don't know whether it helps. I mean, obviously we've struggled with it, but for me, it's something that us as fans get our knickers in a twist about. See, for me, that's something. Let the fucking excuse my language. Let the guys behind the scenes deal with that. I couldn't care less. It pickles my brain trying to figure out who's he and is he eligible? Is he no eligible? Who we got? Try to count in my fingers who's all Scottish, British based and eligible to play for us. Not. I'm just interested in who's playing in the park. I love the guys in the park playing football. That whole same as this is everybody gets their knickers in a twist about budgets and wage budgets and this and that. See if we can afford the wage budget. I couldn't care less if the wage budget is 400 million. As long as we can afford to pay it, who cares? Why would we need to reduce the wage budget? I don't care. Make it as high as you want. As long as we can afford to pay it, I couldn't care less. So for me, it's the exact same thing with this. Let the boys that need to worry about it. I'm 100% sure they know what they're doing. I'm 100% sure that they will make sure that we have the right amount of people that we have got for the places. Shanklin, yes, brings in another Scottish-based player, absolutely smashing, and a Scottish-based player that will be in the first team squad. So rather than supplementing it with young guys, so yeah, it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned there. But I'm not going to get too caught up in wage budgets and European how many homegrown players we've got and stuff like that. That for me, I could care less. Not interested. Absolutely not interested. But everybody seems to get their knickers in a twist about it, and I can't get my head around why. There's obviously somebody somewhere that is their job to look at that and see, right. And I'm 100% sure if it gets to a stage where we go, we're struggling here. I'm 100% sure they'll know about it, so I'm not going to waste my time worrying about it. Let somebody else worry about it.
Yeah, Davie, we've got Neil Coppin coming in starting next week as the director of football recruitment. So he's the man that's going to be solely responsible for the recruitment, as it says in the job title. So do you think that he's, given that he's coming from, I think he's coming from Holland, do you think, the Netherlands, so we don't upset everybody in the Netherlands that's watching, because Holland's only part of the Netherlands, I believe. Do you think he'll maybe have people, he'd maybe sneak as a gem that nobody's ever heard of, that we haven't really thought about? Because, I mean, Morelos came out and over, nobody knew who he was when Jonathan Johansson sort of said, look, sign this guy for £1 million.
Well, you've got to hope that's the case going forward. I think the board have took a lot of stick over the last couple of years, and at the moment it looks like we've certainly got the right manager. So you like to think that there was due process took place in terms of the recruitment process of the director of football model, and we've decided to split the role. And with Coppin coming in, he's got a track record in scouting and progressing all the way through to head of recruitment. And as you can see, since he came to PSV, for example, they got Singari from the French league, and then they've punted him for upwards of 40 million to Nottingham Forest. So he's got a proven track record, and that's what we're looking for. I think we were so down the garden path when it came to Ross Wilson. Ross Wilson was this sort of, messiah that was painted to us from the Scottish media when he was heralded as Rangers director of football. But if you look at Ross Wilson's body of work, it doesn't sort of compete with, the way Coppin turns over players. And at Rangers, that's what we're needing, because our sort of player trading model it's had 3 gems in terms of, you look at Aribo, and I still think we could have got more money for Aribo, but Bassey and Nathan Patterson, that's all we've really had since we've surfaced back to the top league. We need to be turning out 3 or 4 players a year, I think, to really sort of make an impact. And I certainly think Coppin's got the history that will back that up, and he might find us a niche. And as you'll see going forward, there'll always be hits and misses, but I'd like to think that his success rate will be a lot higher than we've had recently.
Right, Bryan, there's a potentially controversial one from Do One. Mark Allen was far better than Ross Wilson. Bryan.
Probably was. I'm just having a wee think about it. He probably was. Mark Allen probably got the guts of the team together to go on and win the leagues. So Mark Allen probably had a bigger job than sort of Ross Wilson had, because the majority of it was already there when Wilson appeared on the scene. I would say, well, Mark, was he horrendous? Goldson, Tav? He got all those guys in and started the spine of of what we all thought we were going to go on and do. I wouldn't say he was horrendous. I think he was pretty decent getting some of the guys that we got in for buttons, So, you could argue they both weren't great, but I would say Mark Allen was probably better than Ross Wilson.
Right, I'll throw this one at you for Ross Wilson, and I'm not sticking up for Ross Wilson, right? This is just one that I still think's, I've no idea how he did the deal, right? Malik Tillman, we got £1 million for giving him back to a club that already owned him, and we're going to get 1.2 million when PSV sign him. Surely that's the best deal that Ross Wilson did for Rangers.
Absolutely, yeah. How he's done that, I've no idea. I've never seen that done in any sort of champ manner football managers I've played, so it must be a new thing that's appearing on the scene as far as transfer deals for how it's structured and stuff. But I've never even heard of that sort of the way.
No, Bryan's internet's away again. So, Mark, if you're still with us, Alan Brown, a lot of talk of Conor Baron Conor Baron, I can't even say his name, coming from Aberdeen. Do you know anything about the lad, and what do you think about him if you do?
I know very little. I'm not going to I'm not going to sit here and say that I know him inside out. I know very little. I know he's a decent talent. He's been capped on under 21's level. Probably going to get him. If we get him, we're going to get him for either buttons or we're going to get him free. So I think good addition, especially at this point in time where we do not have any central midfielders fit. So I think that he's probably suffered with the fact that he's probably not getting in the side because he's running his contract down, or he would be playing. I think he was a good player for Aberdeen. So as I said, why not? We all spoke about a young Scottish player. We've turned our nose up at a lot of young Scottish players over the last kind of 2-3 years, and they've all went on to be absolutely smashing players. So for the money that you're probably going to get them for, either free or if you go for them in January, for me it's a no-brainer. Wages wise as well, young boy's not going to be in stupid money either. So for me it's a very, very, very low risk to go and bring him in. And if he flourishes, good. If he doesn't, no harm, no foul. We're no breaking the bank for him. So I think it's a decent bit of business. I think it's something that we probably should be doing a lot more of. But that is what it is. As I said, I don't know too much about him. I think he's definitely one of these workhorses. Got a bit about him, midfield wise, plenty of bite, plenty of dig. What you'd expect from a Scottish central midfielder. So yeah, as I said, I see it as a no-brainer. It's a win-win. Young boy. If he kicks on, brilliant. If he doesn't, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys in the comments saying Aberdeen won't do business with us. Well, Aberdeen would be foolish not to if we are after him, because I believe the lad's out of contract in the summer. So it could be one of those sign him on a pre-contract and offer them sweetie money for him in January, and if they say no, that's fine. He just sits there. They'll freeze him out.
The talk is it's a pre-contract anyway. It's already been done.
Yeah,
so
well, because even because of that rumour there,
yeah,
the Aberdeen fans are up in arms already. Because they've heard that rumour, you know what I mean. So if that is the case, then surely we just offer Aberdeen a couple of $100,000 and take the boy off our hands, because they won't use him because the fans won't allow it. So, Davie, before we go, a question that's just come up there that's for all of us that I'm going to want to hit everybody with. This was asked to me, but I don't know anything about the lad, so it's coming your way from Paul McGarrigle. Paul's a very, very, very loyal member of the channel. He's on here all the time. Would you take Josh Doig at left back on loan with an option to buy in the summer for £3 million? I don't know where the £3 million coming from, but would you take Josh Doig on loan?
Well, I don't know if I'd take him on loan, but if it was a long-term prospect, I certainly would. When he was at Hibs under the Gerrard 55 season, he was the player that was impressing me most in Scottish football. He's an attacking fullback. He overlaps, he can cross a ball, he's got a good range of passing, and he's tough in the tackle. So for me, he's everything that you would look for in a player, certainly at domestic level. Whether he can go to that, Europa League, Champions League, beyond that, fair enough. But certainly in our league, do I think he's a better player than perhaps Greg Taylor that's at Celtic? Yes, I do. So if a deal can be done and it's at the right money, I would. But whether it be a loan deal, the problem with us is we've got Barisic, who's out of contract in the summer, and we've got Yilmaz on a heavy long-term contract. And you kind of want to turn a profit on Yilmaz. He's not had enough game time that you think we will return a profit. He's flattered to deceive at times. Sometimes you look at him and he's had a great game, and then sometimes you look at him and you kind of think that it's your 9-year-old nephew that's playing with your mates beside you. There's just... I have major questions still about whether Yilmaz will make it long-term at Rangers. If a deal can be done where we get at least our money back, then I certainly would be one that would go for Doig.
Unmute.
Mute.
Schoolboy error. What dare he, mate? Look at that. Schoolboy error. That's because I was having a wee coughing fit there. I thought I better go on mute, so I didn't deafen you. So, Bryan, coming your way, question me and Hamilton. Let's get off the speculation, because I'm not really big on touching too much of speculation. Question for you all: who are your top 5 ever non-Rangers players in your lifetime? in no particular order. Now, I don't know if that's top 5 players in Scotland or just top 5 players. So, Bryan, your top 5 players in your lifetime.
Maradona. I think that's quite an easy one. He can't be not in the top 5. I think R9 Ronaldo, the purest number 9 you'll ever get. If he was 1-on-1 against you, you knew fine. He was scoring. It was quite simple. I think Ronaldinho was another one of my favourites. He could do things with a football that most people can only dream of. To get a standing ovation at the Bernabeu in a Clásico for Barcelona, that says it all for me. That's a great thing. Batistuta at Fiorentina, Roma, Argentina. He was one of my favourite players of all time. Used to watch the Football Italian Sunday mornings, Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, and just loved it. And my final one would have to be, I always liked Ruud Gullit for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it was because he scored in that Euros final for the Dutch, or the shirt that he wore that day, the great Dutch top that's regarded as the best in the world. But yeah, that's my top 5. Quite simple.
Can I fling in one wee curveball as well and then end there? Who's your honourable mention that you've seen live?
Raquelme.
Honourable mention that you've seen live. Raquelme.
Raquelme. Played against us for Villarreal. I think he was 60% fit, and he absolutely destroyed us.
I was there that game. Outstanding.
I'd love to have seen him in his full, 100% fit, and just, yeah, he did us that night.
Right,
he was only 60%
right, Mark.
fit.
Floor's all yours, Marky boy.
I'm glad you went. I'm thinking to myself, I'm glad you went to Bryan first, because it gave me time to think about it, because it's a proper question, and I'm still struggling. So this is probably going to be off the cuff. I'm going to agree with Bryan. All time number 1 for me is going to be Maradona. Things that Maradona could do with the ball, just mesmerising. Just what a talent, God-given talent, just outstanding, absolutely outstanding. What a player. Another one, probably Zidane. Zidane was just one of those. You watch him, it just glides. It just everything looked easy. And when you watch a player that everything looks dead easy and it looks dead simple, and he just kind of, it's not as if he's touching the ground. He just kind of glides. You know that it's a proper player. Zidane, things he could do with the ball, passing ability, shooting, could tackle, was hard as nails as well. A lot of people don't get that. Say that, hard as nails, absolutely hard as nails, and proper nasty with it as well. I think probably, if you look at a modern footballer, all round, probably one of the best footballers that could do absolutely everything. I'm trying to think who else. Defender, Baresi, for me. You saying about you watched it. Baresi was just different class. What a defender. Same again, could do everything. Absolutely everything. You could have stuck him in midfield, they wouldn't have looked at a place. You could have stuck him at number 10, he probably wouldn't have looked at a place, but nobody would have come near him because they were all terrified of him. Because he was absolutely hard as nails. Try to think, that's what's that, 3. Struggling. R9 as well. I mean, you really can't see past R9. What a fantastic talent. I mean, the man, see when you watch him, and probably for the younger ones as well, see if you jump onto YouTube and watch him. We were lucky to see him in games live and stuff. And if you go and watch him, jump on YouTube and go and watch the proper R9. It looks as if he's in fast forward. It's just bizarre when you watch it. It all honestly looks as if he's in fast forward, because he was that quick. And it wasn't even just like that quick at running. His feet were that quick. His thought process was that quick. His turns were that quick. It was just like, and you watch back some clips, it was unplayable. It was absolutely unplayable. And I think it was Dave that said it's like it was like a wee boy watching a wee boy play with your mates. It used to look like the opposite. It used to look like a professional footballer playing against wee boys, because that's how good he was. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic player. I'm trying to think who else would be right up there that's really, really shone for me. Some brilliant players. I mean, you could go on and on and on about players and how good, and top 5, another one. So I'm looking for one more. One more would probably be I think maybe Marco Van Basten. What a player that man was
I nearly
as
said
well.
him.
Goal scorer, everything. I mean, and he was a proper machine as well. He was just a absolute unit. An absolute unit. What a machine. Somebody's put in Del Piero there as well. Pirlo probably came to mind as well. I think probably Van Basten. A lot of people never seen him because he was only there for, I mean, his career was cut so short, but it was just a monster. It quite similar to like kind of only Haaland. Maybe if you Haaland had more skill and more flair. I don't know if you would agree with that. That was the kind of, it was like a proper machine, and he was just a goal scoring machine, same as Haaland was. That's kind of, if I was talking to somebody that was young, probably that's kind of category I would put him in. I put him in Haaland. Haaland with probably Bergkamp's touch, if that makes sense. Just a absolutely fantastic goal scorer. Memorable. Couple. You said it, Bryan. For me, memorable mention or honourable mention. Riquelme. Riquelme was, I mean, one of the best displays I've ever seen live. Another person, just quickly as well, honourable mention because you've already mentioned Riquelme. Somebody said it there. Mendieta for Valencia against Rangers. What a player that man was as well. As I said, exact same as Riquelme. I don't think they make players like that anymore. I really don't. It's an absolute dying breed. But same as I said, seen him live. I was at the game against Valencia, and it was just head and shoulders, absolute head and shoulders. And see, when you see players like that, it's an absolute privilege to be able to say that you've seen them live. So as I said, Riquelme and Mendieta.
Yeah, for me, Geeks Mendieta is probably the best I've ever seen at Ibrox against Rangers. He was just different class that night. So, Davie, I think you're slightly younger than the boys, so this might be a bit more up to date for some of the younger listeners, because it is players that you've seen in your lifetime. So go on then, top five.
No problem at all. So I'll start off with honourable mentions, the guys that haven't made my team. I'm going to start off with Eric Cantona. I thought he was a fantastic player. You know, could link the play, could finish. You know, his career should have went on a lot longer than it did. But when he was at the top of his game, fantastic player. Dennis Bergkamp, who scored the best goal that I have ever seen at France 98. The pass for Frank de Boer, the touch, the control. I think he puts it through Ayala's legs and then sticks it with outside his boot in the top corner. Fantastic goal. Quarter-final World Cup. Amazing goal. And then my last honourable mention, somebody who was very close to getting in my team, but didn't. I'm going to have to say Francesco Totti, who was like Roma all his days, could play anywhere, any position, fantastic touch, fantastic finish, just an all-round quality football player and a legend of the game. So those are my three honourable mentions. And for my top five, I'm just going to name it as a five-a-side team. So I'm going to go Buffon in goals, Paolo Maldini at the back, a midfield two, Maradona and Zidane, and up front R9.
There's not a lot beating that, to be fair. That's a tremendous team, tremendous five-a-side team. I know they're wanting me to stick in now. If it's in my lifetime, I can go to a lot of players that I didn't see, that I can only go on reputation. So I'm not going to do that because reputation means nothing. So I'll talk about players that I've seen but not necessarily seen live, which I think was what the question was alluding to. So for me, it's got to be R9. R9, best, probably the best striker I've ever seen. Absolutely tremendous. The original Ronaldo. Just different gravy. I'd put Mendieta in there. I know a lot of boys give them an honourable mention. I just thought he was an absolutely class player, Geeks Mendieta. I think Bryan mentioned Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was sensational. I actually had the pleasure of seeing him play against us as a young man for Paris Saint-Germain when we played them in 2000 was it 2001, something like that. He was only a kid at the time. He played the same team as Mikel Arteta, if I remember right. We beat them on penalties. Almost saw him again playing for Brazil against Argentina down at the Emirates. When I was down in London, they were playing each other in a friendly, and my girlfriend was really excited because she loves Goofy, as we call them, and he didn't play. He played against Wales at White Hart Lane on the Tuesday, but he didn't play that day, so she was gutted. So what's that? Is that 3 I've got there?
Yep.
3. I would say, well, I don't know. For me, Gaz has got to be up there. I mean, I know we played with us, but Paul Gascoigne was just absolutely different class. And my greatest ever, and I don't care, I'll probably get slaughtered for it. My greatest ever for me, Davie Cooper. I mean, my absolute hero. Probably never really world class, but yeah, and
James,
Anton Rogan, absolute brilliant. James, yeah, Anton Rogan, absolute bomb scare. What is it, Andy Gray's famous commentary? You just can't do that in your own penalty area.
No.
You know, always for youngsters like Davie who probably thinking, who the fuck's Anton Rogan? He was a very, very poor Celtic defender who always gave us a penalty. Always gave us a
penalties were
penalty.
bad, and now you should have seen it back then. He was just relentless for giving us penalties.
He really was. He really was.
Oh.
So, right, Paul McGarrigle's come in with one, Bryan. While
Right.
we're on the subject of players, best goalkeeper at Ibrox. Now, I don't know. I'm assuming that's not best Rangers goalkeeper because I'm not opening that box.
No.
I'm just not opening that box because the answer is Andy Gorham.
Yes.
Right, and that's that one closed. So, the best goalkeeper you've ever seen at Ibrox that hasn't played for Rangers.
Jesus Jones.
Well, I'm going to jump in there and say, you know, in terms.
Don't you dare say Andy Gorham for Hibs.
No, I'm going to say, in terms of their career, it has to be Buffon when he was there with Parma. And the reason that I'm going to put that forward is the fact that the night he was in goals that night, he was actually wearing a Rangers goalkeeper jersey, and he actually got the print of Parmalat put on top of it by Jimmy Bell because their goalkeeper kit clashed with our kit and the referee's kit. So he was actually wearing a Rangers goalie kit that night. So Buffon in close second. I know this is maybe going to shock a few people, but I thought, see the Braga goalkeeper, Mateus, I thought he was outstanding every time he played against us. The Brazilian boy, fantastic goalkeeper. I wanted us to sign him as the replacement for McGregor. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy who we've got now, but I thought Mateus, as somebody that's kind of went under the radar, was a fantastic goalkeeper who played against us.
Bryan?
I'm probably going to say Kahn, actually. I thought Van der Sar played at Ibrox, but I don't think he has. So Oliver Kahn, for me, he was a legendary German goalkeeper. He did some amazing things. I mean, obviously, when we played them, he did the old coming out of his box, and he did what he did with Moles, but I don't think it was deliberate. It was just a pure accident. But just for his longevity as well, I think Kahn was in goals for Bayern for something like near 20 years. So Oliver Kahn for me, definitely Ibrox.
Right, Mark, quickly, best goalkeeper you've seen playing at Ibrox against Rangers. Then you can answer Ian Barnes' question of the most underrated Rangers player ever, in your opinion.
Schmeichel for me, best goalie I've ever seen. Outstanding. What a goalkeeper. I don't think he really gets the kind of praise that he deserves, to be perfectly honest. I think that he's, for years, and it's not even like some goalies at the moment have had a couple of good years. Schmeichel was a world-class goalkeeper for 10 year, 12 year plus. So for me, what a goalkeeper. Done everything. Good shot stopper. Good distribution of the ball back in the days when it wasn't a decent distribution for any goalkeeper. Done everything well. Came out for the ball. As I said, for me, brilliant. Great at penalties as well. What a goalkeeper. What was the other question then? Most underrated player at Ibrox. Oh, I would go to somebody else. Come back to me with that. Let me think about that one. Jesus.
Right, while he's thinking about that, right, go on then, Davie. Most underrated Rangers player ever.
This is an easy one for me, Wilf, because I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. Davie Robertson, what a left back. Absolutely superb. Championship, league winners' medals, mentality, play, attacking fullback beyond his years. Arthur Newman gets put on this pedestal, but for me, Davie Robertson eclipses Arthur Newman. Just a born winner, a fantastic player, somebody that we signed for Aberdeen and then took us on again to the next level. So for me, Davie Robertson, a far underrated player, and for me, a Rangers legend and vastly underrated.
Bryan, I know you were going to say Davie Robertson.
Quite easy for me as well. Stuart McCall. Stuart McCall's my underrated player. I think he did a lot of dirty work during the period that he was at the club. He was right back. He was centre midfielder. He was everywhere. An absolute I wouldn't like to have played against him because he looked an absolute menace. Because he never seemed to stop. He was like this sort of Duracell bunny, just kept going. But yeah, for me, Stuart McCall just doesn't get a lot of credit. He gets overlooked for the likes of Souness, Durant, Gascoigne, and the likes. So yeah, for me, Stuart McCall definitely is one of the most underrated.
Right, Mark, what have you come up with?
Left field, Claudio Reyna. I think Claudio Reyna, we never realised how good he was until he left. I think he was an absolutely brilliant player. Same again, done everything well. Goal scorer, tackler, super fit, never injured, great team player. Done everything well. Done everything he was ever asked to. If he was asked to play at right back, he would do it and he'd be good as a right back. Playing midfield, he'd be good in midfield. As I said, I don't think we realised how good a player he was until he left. But yeah, Claudio Reyna, definitely. Other one was probably the same as Bryan, Stuart McCall.
Yeah, for me, it's Stuart Monroe. I don't think Stuart Monroe got nearly the credit that he deserved. I mean, he saw off numerous managers. Souness came in trying to get rid of him, and he was still there. He just couldn't get him. Signed loads of players to replace him. At left back was signed with Malawa for, I don't know, if I could bag of balls and a set of wet tracksuits, something ridiculous like that. And he saw off a number of players in his position. So, Davie, it's probably a bit unfair to ask this question, but Ian Barron's on fire. Your worst Rangers player ever. Thanks. Now I'm going to reframe that, right? Player that you really didn't rate. I wouldn't say not necessarily the worst, but for whatever reason you didn't rate him.
To me, it has to be the McLeish era, and I'm torn between two, but I'm going to go for Francis Jeffers. I mean, it was heralded as some sort of, wonder signing from the Premier League. And what an absolute donkey. And that's me being kind to Francis Jeffers. I mean, he couldn't trap a ball. He had absolutely zero touch about him. He was heralded as this sort of fox in the box, and that is the sort of mantra that followed him throughout his career. But he was absolutely woeful. In the same season, we had obviously Egil Ostenstad, Nuno Capuccio, and it was a very it was a turgid season. But I think, for me, certainly, I mean, at the start of that season as well, we also signed Felipe Maniero, and then he was released from his contract before we even kicked the ball. It was just such a bizarre season. But for me, Francis Jeffers is by far the worst player I have ever seen in a Rangers jersey.
I have to take issue with one of them because Nuno Capuccio won a medal in Seville, so we'll give him a free pass for that, right, Bryan? Go on in. You're chomping at the bit, although it's probably already been said.
Yeah, it has been said, because I've said to you before in the Getting to Know You pod that this guy was my biggest letdown after we signed him, and it was Nuno Capuccio. Not long, just won a medal in Seville, as you said. Came to us, I was expecting massive things, and my God, could he not run? He was the slowest winger I've ever seen, or whatever he was meant to be. He was a forward of some sort, and just could go on again. He was so slow. As I say, I was expecting big things when he came from Porto, but he was an absolute letdown. So yeah, for me, Capuccio gets it, the nod. Although I do doff my cap to him for getting his medal in Seville.
Mark?
So there's a couple of we could be here all day. I had mine in my head. You used to ask a question in Getting to Know You pod about who it was that you know that you didn't rate, that you just didn't like, you just didn't.
Didn't take
Although
to,
he was a decent player, you just didn't take to him, and I can't get that out of my head. Because obviously everybody was shocked. I don't know if you remember who I said.
I think I do.
So
Yes,
everybody was shocked, but probably the worst Rangers player I've ever seen, man. There's been a few stinkers, man. Probably biggest disappointment for me, Oleg Salenko. And I think that watching him in the World Cup and thinking we have just signed the top goal scorer in the World Cup for him to come, and I was so excited about this wee guy. Was going to bang all sorts of goals in, and what a letdown. The other one probably no, I'm doing him a disservice, a bit of disjustice. Sebastian Rosenthal as well. I was so excited about that wee guy coming in as well. Exact same
He
as
got an injury,
Oleg
didn't he?
Salenko.
He
Yeah,
got a
so
bad
that's what I'm
injury.
saying. So no fault of his own, but still. But yeah, Salenko for me was, I thought he was just going to score goals for fun, and it just never. That's a bottom line, and we paid a lot of poppy for him as well, and such a disappointment. Really, really disappointed. But and I put, it's one of the ones that see how that signing just grips you, and you get the fire in your belly and stuff, and you're like, oh, he's going to be brilliant. And but I was so disappointed in him, and to this day I'm still disappointed in Oleg Salenko. If I ever meet him, I'm telling him.
yeah. There's a lot of names coming up that are giving me a bit of PTSD. I mean, obviously, Mark, you mentioned Salenko, Stefan Givash. I'd forgotten all about Stefan Givash, French World Cup winner. French World Cup winner couldn't kick his own ass for us. You know, I mean, Paul Ritchie, Paul McGarren was going with Paul Ritchie, signed for about 40 days, signed him from Hearts, never played a game for us, then we sold him. But that was a good bit of business. I think we signed him for nothing. We sold him for about £250,000, so that was a decent bit of business, I think. So that's unbelievable. We've managed to get over an hour on this, which on Christmas night is absolutely superb. I can't thank everybody enough for coming away from whatever they were doing for their Christmas evening and joining us. The chat's been absolutely brilliant. As usual, I can't read and talk at the same time, so the comments have been all over the place. I've missed a few bits and pieces. But there was one there I saw from somebody, and I started it and then I got rid of it. I can't remember who asked that. It might have been Craig. Can't remember. Given the current situation, and assuming, Bryan, that we win on Wednesday and that lot beat Dundee tomorrow if the game's on, would you take a draw on Saturday?
100% I would. Because the state of our injury list, the lack of numbers in the squad, going there with no fans, yeah, I would take a draw right now, just purely the fact that we're it looks like Goldson went off injured the other day. So the numbers are getting worse and worse. There doesn't seem to be a sign of anybody coming back anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, I reckon if we could get in and out with a draw, that would be a good effort. It really would.
Mark, would you take a draw over at the Chamber of Secrets?
I hate even thinking about drawing with him. I think psychologically the win would be massive, absolutely massive. It would be a proper marker, and it would proper put them right under pressure. Same as Bryan, I'm worried about the amount of injuries. I think that if we went there with a full squad, I would be very, very confident about turning them over and turning them over properly. My concern is we're playing a right back in midfield, and we're playing Dill that's, although he's been played well the last 2 games, he's only played the last 2 games, and that's my concern. So when you look at the bigger picture, probably coming out of there with a draw to live to fight another day, being a point ahead, I would take it. Yes, I would take it. But as I said, for me, I think we're a different animal now. I think our mentality's far stronger. I think probably the only way we're going to accept a draw is the reason we're going to accept a draw, and all of us probably will say the same, is because of the state of our midfield. And up front as well, we've got one fit striker, realistically. We're playing 2 out of... Don't get me wrong, I remember going there and with a makeshift team and doing them before, but I think that would take a draw. I would take a draw as it stands, yes.
Davie, are you in the same camp as the boys? Or are you all out, win at all costs?
Well, I think the thing about me is it's not really important what I think. I don't think the manager will accept a draw. I think he'll play to win, and I think that's the difference now. We are going into games with belief, and we've not had that in years. We've got a Rangers manager now who is a proper Rangers manager, who gets it, who buys into our ethos, who knows that it's win at all costs, and winning is the most important thing. So why not set the bar high? Yes, it will be difficult. Of course, it will be. We've got a depleted squad, but let's look at them. They're no great shakes. They can't sign anybody before the transfer window starts. So, they have lost recently to Kilmarnock. Are we a better side than Kilmarnock? Yes, we are. So why not go there and let's go for the 3 points and let's get back to being what Rangers is all about, winning and winning championships.
Yeah, 100% agree with you all. I think a draw wouldn't be a disaster. I think it's the least that we'll get. Got to go out there looking for a win, and I think we will go looking for a win because that's the manager's psyche is win every game. And the good thing for me, Bryan, particularly after yesterday when that very professional performance in probably the worst football conditions I can ever remember, the manager was all about the win. It wasn't the performance. He didn't really seem bothered about the performance. It was all about the win, which is what we really need.
Yes, I think it is. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously appreciating the magnitude of the sort of pressures he's under, and but let's be honest, when you seen the win yesterday in the rain, let's be honest, we all just wanted 3 points and getting out of there. It wasn't a day for pretty football. I think anybody that was expecting pretty football yesterday and being disappointed, well, I don't know what you were looking for because it certainly wasn't going to happen yesterday. It was a case of get the goals, get in, get out, and hopefully no injuries. Unfortunately, the latter didn't quite happen, but we got in, got up early doors, and never really looked in trouble after that. So yeah, there's certain games that you go into and you want to play well and a bit of style, but there's certain games that, like yesterday, you just want to get the 3 points and get out.
Right, Bryan, before we go, we have got a game before then because we've got a game on the 27th. Which is Ross County Ibrox. So you're going to give us one of your wonderful score predictions and a first goal scorer for that game before we all head off and do what we need to do.
I'll go 3-0 Dessers.
Okay, Mark.
2-1. I think it might be a tricky one. 2-1, and I think Dowell.
Okay, Davie.
4-1 Sima.
Okay, nice and succinct. I'm going to go 4-0, and a goal from opening goal is going to be from John Souttar because he's going to come in for Connor Goldson, who I don't think will play even if he's fit, because I think that would be folly to play him because he's been off for injury yesterday. That's just my own opinion. And Souttar likes to go with a header from a set play, so we'll go for that. Lots and lots of things in the chat. 4-0 from Matt Gunner, Ian Ross 3-0 Dessers, Davie P 4-0 Dessers. Keith Drummond, 2-0 McCausland. He's postponed. It's Ibrox. It's not going to get postponed, hopefully. There is a chance their game might get bagged tomorrow, right enough, because Dundee's game get bagged with Aberdeen on Saturday, which, from a football fan's point of view, is ridiculous because they binned it at 2 o'clock. But since it was Aberdeen fans, I thought it was really funny. Three tough penalties, superb, Dixie. So once again, thanks very much to everybody who's joined us tonight in this impromptu Christmas night Rangers Rabble podcast. We could probably go on all night, but I don't want to get the wrath of people's families from their wife when they say their wife they've been nipping away for 10 minutes. I know Mark's got more of that zero Guinness to put down his neck, seeing as he's stuck offshore. Davie needs to go and get Stephen to forget he was at his mother-in-law's today. Bryan, I'm not even going to ask what you're doing with your cat there. So, Bryan, thank you very much indeed for your time. Mark,
not a problem.
Enjoy the rest of your trip offshore.
All the very
Davie,
best.
We'll
Merry Christmas, guys.
And once again, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, do all that nice stuff. Tell your pals about us. And if we've helped you while away an hour or so on Christmas night, then our job here is done. See you later, guys.